guys, welcome back to another episode of NFL Bell. This is the championship round. We have the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship games. It's probably going to be a quicker episode, but a lot to break down, a lot of matchups. We're going to be going a little bit more in depth than our usual episodes since it's only 2 games. And I think you're going to enjoy the takes on this one because I think me and Lou are pretty much aligned on the 2 games. It's more, I'm waiting to see what kind of props he's on. Lou, how you doing?
I am fucking ready. And I'll tell you guys, anybody watching this right now, Sunday night, I threw some bets in. I knew who I liked. It's Wednesday night. I feel even better. Like, I don't usually have this level of confidence a week in advance, and it just keeps getting bigger. I've read some other sites, and they're like expert perspectives, and like they're wrong. Some of them are wrong. The ones that disagree with me are completely wrong. And the ones that agree with me are smart, and maybe they'll hire me. But I got some DFS takes. I got betting takes. I got some crazy ass props. I'm going to be very confident about one player out of the 4 for everything. And let's fucking get to it. Before. So my buddy Pat that watches the show, Patty Mac, gave me a bag of beer on Sunday. Bag. I'm like, I don't know why I figured he's giving me like 4 or 5 beers. He gave me 15 beers. Okay. So this one is from Duclaw. It's called Regular Jesus. It's a peanut butter porter. This one is from Duclaw, and it's called Sweet Baby Jesus. It is also a peanut butter porter.
Oh, there's Patty.
There is no difference in these 2 beers. There's zero difference. They taste the same. They have literally the same amount out. This is 6.2. This is 6.2. It's the same. There's no difference in these beers. I'm grateful for the bag of beer. There's no difference in these beers. So, and like 10 of the 15 in the bag are these beers. So like I'm saving the Mad Elf. The Mad Elf will be saved for Sunday. You ever had a Mad Elf?
I have not. I haven't tried
I don't have that out there.
Exotic beers or the
It's
like the craft beers.
It's from Trogs. Trogs is a PA beer company, so it's probably why you wouldn't. But
Yeah.
but Mad Elf is like what you drink when you really want to get fucked up. It's like it's 12%. Like
Sounds like something I want.
Like when I took over the shit bar a couple of years ago, like we had a half keg of it or sixtel in the basement, and I'm like, has this ever been tapped? And the guy that worked there was like, no. I'm like, should we just put this on? It's a Christmas like ale.
Huh.
It was June, and I'm like, well, should I just put it on? It's free beer, and it's like I'm going to be able to sell it. People are gonna be like, oh shit, you have it on in June? Like that's fucking great. So that shit sold in like a week. People were like, yes, like probably absolutely
12%.
Well,
I want that.
Hey, you're paying.
12%ers. Give me all the IPAs, all the 12% beers. I'll have them all.
Hey man, I'm looking at my sales figures, and I'm like, cool. I paid 0 for this, and I can sell it at $8-9. Like, well, you don't sell pints. You sell like the snifter glasses, but like, yeah, people get fucked up, and they're like, oh man, this is awesome. You had it. Here's tips. I'm like, awesome. I work for tips, so it's great. Let's get into the games. Let's go.
If you guys haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. But Lou, I say let's get right to this thing. Pulling up the odds right now. First game on the slate, we have the Niners at the Eagles. The Eagles are 2.5-point favorites. Lou, I'm going to let you kick this one off.
All right. I'll do the betting side, and then after you're done, I want to talk about some DFS with this.
Okay.
Give the people a little beef. Okay, so I've been on the Niners train for almost the whole time Purdy's been there because I've loved the defense. I'm getting off the train. Much to my dismay, I have to play the Birds here. It's like Purdy has played, he's played 2 road games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of them was in Seattle, which is a tough crowd, but Seattle's kind of shitty. One's in Vegas where half the crowd was San Francisco Niners fans anyway, and it's against Stidham. Purdy was fine that game. The defense was not. And this is my big concern. I've been saying for weeks, how do you beat San Fran's defense over the top? You beat them deep. Their front seven's really good. Their secondary is kind of mediocre. You saw it with Stidham. Bomb. And this has nothing to do with Devontae Adams. They should have known literally the only person you have to stop is Devontae Adams. Stidham just kept bombing Adams, Foster Moreau, downfield. Like, it didn't matter. They couldn't stop anything past 20 yards. They couldn't. They shut down Jacobs. They couldn't do shit to Devontae Adams. Nothing. Next week, they play David Blau in a game that means literally nothing to the Cardinals.
Bling Blau.
First play of the game, 80-yard flea flicker. Like to AJ Green, who's like 90. How does that play work? And Arizona made that a game because they weren't just calling, like, they weren't playing conservative offense. Seattle had success against them in the first round of the playoffs. The reason Dallas did is they really didn't throw the ball downfield a lot. When they did to CeeDee Lamb, he made some plays. I mean, Dallas kind of were their own worst enemy in that game. I don't think San Fran won that game more than Dallas lost it. Purdy was okay. He did just enough to win that game. He's not going to have that luxury here. And this is going to be the worst scenario he's ever been in. The weather's going to be respectable. It's going to be 49 degrees, which is actually like favors the Niners here. That it's not like, if this was like a brutally cold Philly day, I'd be going like alt spread level, on the Eagles here. But I can't dispute how good the Niners defense has been overall. Okay. Now, that being said, I get to the Eagles side. Last week, I was all over Devonta Smith props. The only reason he didn't get there is because the game script had the Eagles running the whole second half. The Giants were so bad the first half, the Eagles didn't have to throw the ball at all.
Wait, he didn't end up getting
He missed by 2 yards.
Even after that first 40-yard catch? Holy.
Because they didn't throw the ball the whole second half because they didn't have to.
That's true. Wow.
So the bet was right.
Yeah,
I don't say that often about losing bets. I don't say it often about losing bets that I think the bet was right. The Giants were so bad that literally the Eagles were like, we have no reason to throw the ball once in the second half. I mean, Gainwell just they're like, cool, we're just going to use Gainwell and Boston Scott. Like, they weren't even using Sanders in the second half. They're like, we don't have to. Like, we got to So I still think the read was right. It's just unfortunate how the Giants gave up field position so easily. Like Goddard, I nailed the Goddard props, but the Smith one, whatever. But I also said last week that don't bet AJ Brown because the Giants are going to bracket him. This is the exact opposite. The Niners will not be able to stop AJ Brown. Now, here's where we get to the bets. So I love the Eagles. I am massive on AJ Brown props. Massive. I've laddered him. His total in the same game is going to be 64.5. I've taken him at 74.5 at even money, 84.5 at plus 160. I took him 100 at plus 225, and I took him over 125 at plus 85. But I did promise a plus 2,000 prop, didn't I?
Yep. Yes, you did.
AJ Brown to lead everybody on Sunday in receiving yards is plus 2,000, and I fucking love it. I think he's the leading receiver in this game. I don't think Ayuk's going to get much done. You and I were talking for the show. They're going to put Darius Slay on him. He's probably going to get shut down. Kittle is going to have the most receiving yards of anybody on the Niners, I believe. And you want to talk about something mispriced. Kittle's prop is 39.5 or maybe 44.5. Let me see. 39.5 is his prop.
39. Yep.
Okay. Kittle's 39.5. Browns is set at like 70. Kittle to have the most receiving yards on Sunday is plus 1,000. How?
Sense.
Right. So to me, even if you don't believe everything I'm saying about AJ Brown, the prop's mispriced for a guy who I think is going to be the leading receiver in one game. And then who are you sweating in the second game? You're sweating Chase. You're sweating T motherfucking Higgins because he can go off.
Not even.
But he can. I'm saying it's the guys that are capable of putting up that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like you're sweating Kelsey. You have to. But I think Brown can have a fucking monster game, especially because this is set up for him. And he's coming off a game where they didn't use him much. He only had 22 yards. Part of that was game script. Part of that was his hip being a little sore. But he's been talking about all week, motherfuckers, get me the ball. You don't think we call this with the Tennessee game. I'm like, whatever Brown props you see, just fucking go ham. I think this is that game. I think if I could bet him to get 200 yards, I would. I would take a flyer on it. I think this is just him being unstoppable game. And I think Smith is going to have success because I don't think the Eagles can run the ball at all in this game. I think Sanders is going to get squashed. So let me tell you, I have 4 props this game, then I'll pass it over to you. So AJ Brown all day, all yardage, touchdown, 2 touchdowns is plus 1,100. Dude, literally whole day is based on A.J. Brown. Other than Brown, I like the Eagles to cover. I don't want to do alt spreads. 2.5 is fine. Like, even if you want to take the money line and take that out of it, I think minus 140 is like totally reasonable here for a home team against a guy who's had 8 starts in his career. I love the Kittle props. Philly is bottom 10 in the league in defending tight ends. It's their one vulnerability. Kittle has incredible stats against Philly in his career. The last 2 games, I think he has 19 catches against them. Like, in his last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
It might be 3. He kills them. And Philly's linebackers, like, their D-line's good. Their secondary is good. Their linebackers are suspect. If any part of their defense is weak, it's them. Purdy obviously trusts Kittle. He's going to be getting pressured a lot. He's going to be looking for Kittle as his primary receiver, which is why I don't like Ike props. I love Kittle props. I think he's going to feast. In the same game, you can throw him over 29.5 at like minus 360 if you just want to like beef it up. But over 39.5 is like minus 140. And I think he's going to, his over under receptions is 3.5 too. He's going to crush that. I think Kittle's going to get 10, 12 targets, especially in a game where I think the Eagles are going to have the lead and it's going to have to be a pass heavy script for the Niners. The only other prop I like here is Jalen Hurts rushing totals. Now, I've been kind of laying off Hurts. And like, he didn't run a lot against the Giants because he didn't have to. In this game where I think the Eagles are going to have to throw a little more than usual because the Niners are going to shut down the run, it's going to give Hurts the opportunity to run a little more. The Niners have shut down mobile quarterbacks this year, but they haven't played anybody like Hurts. And really, when I say mobile, I'm talking about like Geno fucking Smith, who stinks. I know Geno Smith had a good year. Wiz, I'm going to quote.
Yeah.
Let me paraphrase Brady a little bit. Is Geno Smith a bum?
Mm-mm.
I think he's kind of a bum.
He was.
He's kind of a bum.
He was a bum.
He has a pretty good bunch of skill players around him too. Having Walker Locker Metcalf's not bad, dude. Like,
at the end of the day, you got to also, I mean, he's accurate. He's very accurate because we could say the same thing about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has a bunch, even more than Geno, a bunch of skill players that are like all-stars.
And he put up good accuracy numbers this year. But is he a bum? Sort of. Jalen Hurts is not a bum. Jalen Hurts is not a bum.
Kirk Cousins is more of a bum than Geno, in my opinion.
Kirk Cousins is a bum. Jalen Hurts is not a bum. And Jalen Hurts, more importantly, knows how to, like, his timing's really good running. So I think the more the Niners do to pressure him, he's going to be able to get out of there and get yardage. So 34.5 in the same game is like minus 250. 44.5 is his target. I mean, it's not unreasonable to think in a game where the Eagles, it's going to be a competitive game and they're going to be pass heavy. It's not unreasonable to think that he could easily hit 44.5. So that's where I stand on this. There's no other props that I like. I see Pat saying Goddard. I don't like Goddard props this week at all. I really think the Eagles are going to stretch the field. And then there's one more guy I'm going to talk about, but I'll wait till the DFS part. All you, Wiz.
Yeah, so I tend to agree with most of what Lou said. I like the Eagles as a game pick here at minus 2.5. You don't even need to take the alt line money line if you want to be a little bit safer, sure. But I do think the Eagles win by a touchdown here. A couple of things. The Eagles are just a little bit more fast paced than the Niners defense. And at the moment, the Niners defense, their main struggle is the corner position. Even though they have Charvarius Ward, who's a fantastic corner, probably top 10 in the league, he's given up the big play a couple of times, but that's not the issue. He's not going to be covering A.J. Brown. He's going to be covering Devontae Smith. The reason I say that is they're probably going to want to put a bigger body on A.J. Brown. Charvarius Ward is not the biggest corner in the NFL. He's a little bit more on the smaller side. So even if he covers A.J. Brown, I think he'll struggle just due to the size and the speed. So Devontae Smith, his prop is at his receiving prop, the last I checked, was 67.5. It's hovering on different bookies between.
By the way, he's also plus 2,000 to lead the day in yards too. It's the same.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. His prop is 67.5 around a couple of different books. I'll just stick to that number. He's likely going to be seeing the Charvarius Ward, as I mentioned. Due to A.J. Brown drawing the bigger defender, and it's probably going to be Lenoir, Ward has been a top 10 corner this year. He allows only 27.5 yards per game. I do think Devontae goes under, so I really like the under look for Devontae Smith. But more than anything, I do like the A.J. Brown over just because of that fact. because he's drawing a bigger guy in Lenoir or some sort of linebacker because they can't really cover someone as big as AJ Brown with their typical corners. And, and another prop that I like this week is Jalen Hurts rushing. The reason I say that is because the Niners are known most for their pass rush. If he does not release this ball quick, he's going to be running. He's off. And I don't think Miles Sanders is going to hit his over. I don't think he's going to see too many rushing attempts. As Lou said, we expect a game with more passes than anything from the Eagles. I do like Jalen Hurts over 44.5 rushing yards. I think with all the pressure, the Niners, what they tend to do is they tend to rush the quarterback to hit him directly. They don't try to curve outwards. They just go directly at the quarterback. And that we've seen Jalen Hurts take advantage of defenses that use that scheme, use that strategy time and time again. So I think he soars over his rushing total. It probably might hit in the first half, in my opinion. Now, I'm not going to guarantee it hits in the first half, but I think in the game, he's probably going to be hitting that 44.5 pretty easily. It won't be a sweat. I'm not going to be this week. I'm not going to be focusing on first half team totals. I'm sure that's going to be a question that comes up. I would rather just stick to the game picks and a couple of props that I'm pretty confident in. And as I mentioned, I'm really confident in the Eagles beating the Niners here. We saw last week Brock Purdy faced a really good defense for the first time in his career, and he looked like he was struggling. He wasn't completing passes as much as he's used to, or as much as we're used to seeing him complete passes. And he was getting rushed. So he got sacked a couple times. He threw the ball away a couple of times. He nearly had it intercepted twice. There should have been at least an interception or two from Brock Purdy.
The one was egregiously bad.
The one on Trevon Diggs, yeah.
Egregiously bad.
That was horrible.
Like bad decision making and a horrible drop. But
yeah,
but bad decision making, right?
100%, 100%. So yeah, I'm sticking with the Eagles here. I think they do actually get a couple of turnovers off Brock Purdy.
Who would scare you more, Brock Purdy or Brock Lesnar?
Brock Lesnar.
Okay, sure.
I'm 100%. Oh, well, in terms of what?
Farming? I don't know.
Person like fighting?
Pat's asking what he's asking what Sanders was.
Sanders. Let me check.
No, I got it right here. What he's asking for, rushing or receiving?
I think that's receiving. I got it right here. It
Sanders
is
receiving yards.
I see 6.5 on my book.
6.5 on DraftKings
Yeah.
as well. I mean, it's not horrible, but I don't know, man. I don't like this kind of. Me personally, I don't like this kind of bets. Yeah, he can do it on one pass, but like, I think Sanders gets. So you want to talk about? Can I talk about the DFS side now, or?
Yeah, Lou, take it away from here.
All right, so here are your targets in this game from the Eagles for me. I have it up on my own. I'm not going to put it up on the screen, but on the Eagles side, Hurts is the second most expensive quarterback on the slate at $7,200. I think Hurts is a very solid play here. Purdy is 5,300. If it depends on how many lineups you're going to run. I don't think it's a horrible play. He's the cheapest QB of the four. It's more that this is going to be a pass-heavy script than anything else. I don't hate him here in a couple of lineups. I think for his value, like for what you're paying for him, it's fine. But actually, hold on a second. No, never mind. But I'm going to target Hurts in a few lineups. I'll have some Purdy here, but other than that, like whatever. As far as the running backs go, I'm targeting nobody in this game. As much as the Eagles were maligned for Lou Brock, of course, old St. Louis Cardinal Lou Brock, as Patty says. As far as running backs, I don't like anybody in this game at all. I think the Niners are going to shut down everybody that the Eagles have. Boston Scott can go suck a cock. That dude.
Boston Scott does not play against any teams that are not named the New York Giants.
He is a genetic mutant they made specifically to play against the Giants. I don't think Sanders has a big day. Gainwell, really, he gets a lot of garbage time yards. I think that nothing that Sanders does, like nobody in the Eagles, and then on top, and then if you go to McCaffrey, he's the highest priced player on the entire slate, any position. To pay that off in terms of points per dollar, you really need like 150 all-purpose yards and a couple of scores. I'm not even so sure McCaffrey gets a touchdown, but if he does, at his salary, he really needs like a big game, especially in the receiving side of it. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying ignore him. Like you can't ignore him completely here as an option. But I'm not high on anybody here from the running back perspective. Now, let me get to the receivers. AJ Brown, 7K. I mean, I'm bad about it. I captain him in single game showdowns. I play him in 100% of lineups. My whole day rests with AJ Brown. You go down the list. The next highest priced guy in this game, Devonta Smith, 6,800. I'm going to avoid him, and I'm going to be underweight to the field for reasons that you and I talked about. I don't think he's going to have a big game, and I think he's going to be super high owned. So I'm willing to get off him a little bit. Debo's next at 5,700. We didn't even talk about him. In these kind of contests, getting running yards is unless you're getting 100 rushing yards, like it's not worth it. He's basically a half running back, half receiver. I don't think he has a massive game. I think he's going to get weirdly shut down. I actually think as we go down this list, you have Ayuk at 4,400, who is very playable because 4,400 for a DraftKings lineup is so cheap. For a guy that 3 catches, 40 yards, he's paying his salary. 5 catches, 70, you're in business. I think you have to play Ayuk here. And the only other guy that gets more red zone targets than Kittle is Ayuk. So they're going to be there if the Niners get in the red zone in a game that, honestly, the line says should be competitive. I think Ayuk's going to get a lot of looks. Whether he converts them or not is different, but at 4,400, I have to play him. Then you go down this list, and it's like a bunch of bums. The only one that interests me here, and this is where I'm want to get your opinion. So Quez Watkins is sitting here. Pat and I were talking about this today. So Quez is sitting here at 3,100. Now, for Quez Watkins to pay off his salary, he probably needs 1 catch because Quez Watkins doesn't get 8-yard catches. If he catches one, it's a 40-yard catch. And we're talking about how the Niners get beat deep. The problem I have is, who played more snaps than him last week was Zach Pascal. If Pascal is getting more snaps, he's getting more routes run, they're about the same price too. Zach Pascal is 3,000 in the main slate, and Quez is 3,100. So they're literally all right. So they're $100 apart. I know in the single game it's $300 apart, but do you think either one has any value here? Pascal's kind of hasn't really done much, but if he's playing half the snaps, it's really does Pascal get 2 catches for 20 yards? Do you think that's more likely than Watkins getting 1 for 20 yards or 30 yards? How do you Watkins could break one and get a touchdown, and if you have him, you're probably cashing if you have him at that price. But who would you even consider it? I know you can't do DFS. You do prize picks. Would you consider either one of these guys as a prize pick play?
Well, prize picks is a little bit different because
depending on their yardage.
You don't play you're not building lineups on prize picks, but
you play whatever their number is.
You're playing the number, and it's like an actual bet. It's kind of as if you're parlaying props. That's it. But to go to your point, I still think in your situation, I would go with Watkins. If a gun is pointed to my head that I have to play one of the two, I would definitely pick Watkins just because Jalen Hurts has more chemistry with Watkins. And like you said, they didn't really throw the ball much in the second half last week. That's probably why he had more snaps. So I would ultimately go with Watkins because he's been on the field with Jalen Hurts a little bit more, and I think he is the bigger threat for the downfield pass.
I mean, his game log is hilarious. So Quez Watkins last week, no targets. None. The Giants game the week before didn't mean anything. I don't really care about that game. He got targeted 4 times. He went 2 of 14. The Saints game they lost, that was Minshew, right?
The Saints game, I believe, was Minshew, yes.
Okay. No, 1 target, no catches. Dallas game, which was Minshew, that was the Christmas game, targeted 5 times, 1 catch for 19 yards. His game log is terrible. And that's the problem. His game log is really, really bad. So,
well, then you have the question: do you have to play one of them?
Well, I'm talking about in a single entry more than anything else. I'm sorry, in a single game showdown, you have to get somebody cheap. So, like, I'll give you an example. Here's a lineup I'm thinking about. Captain AJ Brown. So you get 50,000. Captain AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, Kittle, Ayuk, Purdy. I get both QBs in this lineup, which is not easy to do. It leaves me like $2,200 left over. So you got to go get somebody cheap. Now, if you look at the cheap options, it's like him, Pascal, and then you get into like the Racy McMaths of the game. You know what I mean? Like you're getting into guys who are like, can you play a guy real cheap and hope he gets like one catch? So out of all of them, I feel like Watkins' ceiling is the highest for sure because he's got speed. But like if they're playing Pascal more, and if he gets like one or two catches, he's going to pay that money off. So like I'll probably end up doing two lineups, like one with each, but because I don't want to do anything but AJ at captain. And if I can get a lineup where I get Hurts, Kittle, and Purdy, like I have to.
Yeah, then you're kind of. Yeah, I'd play Watkins.
Yeah, like I don't want to do this fucking horse shit. I'm going to have my obligatory double defense, double kicker lineup because you have to have, dude, after that Indy Denver game this year, you have to have the one lineup where it's like, okay, if it's 9-6, I win.
Out of the two games
Like you have to have it.
Out of the two games on the slate, this is the game.
Well, probably. I mean, probably, but I think this is a little higher scoring than people think. But we'll see. But but those are my DFS targets here. And I would also say, just last note on this, in terms of like a defense, I don't like the way DraftKings really scores defense. I don't love it. The Niners and the Eagles are the top two. 3,000 for the Niners, 2,800 for the Eagles. Okay. Which is weird that the underdog is $200 more. I realize it's sacks, intercept. Like it's not points allowed as a scoring metric, but the sacks are a big thing. I get that. But I don't like either one here. And we're going to get to who I like in the next game, and I'll give you a hint, it ain't the Chiefs. But the Bengals are the cheapest defense on the slate, and it's wild to me. But I got nothing more on this game. I got it on the Eagles. I got it on AJ Brown on I don't like Juszczyk here.
No, me neither. He barely even gets the ball at all.
But hold on. But Pat's not talking about DraftKings. Pat's talking about props.
Yeah, his prop is 5.5.
If you want to take a flyer on his like TD stuff, I don't have a problem with that because they use him weird. And McCaffrey's not 100%. But in terms of DraftKings, he's actually too expensive for me to consider. He's the same price as like, here, hold on. I'll tell you right now what he is. He's like weirdly expensive this week.
I wonder why.
He's 4,000. He's the same price. Well, maybe he's not that expensive. He's 4,000. He's $200 more than Tyler Boyd. He's 300 more than Kadarius Toney. He's 400 more than Valdez Scantling.
What the?
And he's 700 more than Juwan Jennings, who like, and
he's Mr. Third down for the Niners.
And he's more than Watkins. That's weird, man. Like everybody at 3,000 is basically like a fucking jabroni. Except for one guy here. Well, I'm very shocked is at 3,000. In fact, I'm glad I'm even scrolling through this. How the fuck is Hayden Hurst 3,000?
Yeah, that's also.
Well, we'll get to. I gotta make that note. How did I fuck with it? Oh, I missed him because I'd play Hayden Hurst over. I'd probably play him over Kelsey. You're giving me somebody 3,000 versus 7,800 that they're throwing to in the red zone now. I'd have to consider it.
Mm-hmm. You have
I don't know. I don't know. By the way, anything I tell Pat, you don't listen to me anyway, and he just wins money. So I don't know even why he's watching the show.
For the entertainment value.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Let's do it. On to the next game. We got the Bengals.
This is all you.
The
Look at this. It just moved.
It just moved, yeah.
Oh, it just went down to minus 105. It was minus. All right.
Oh, no. So refresh the screen for a second.
It refreshes automatically.
Whoa.
You're a computer. You're taking computer classes. They're using jQuery. They're constantly updating the screen. They don't need me to refresh it.
I get it. So a couple of hours ago, the Chiefs were 1-point favorites.
Yeah, this line has taken some crazy ass fucking movement, dude.
It's
Like
up
they're like
and
they're
down.
like Mahomes is okay. People are like load him up. I bet Cincy Sunday night, dude. Like so, you know
Yeah.
that.
So,
I'm like all the money.
so as I mentioned before we started the show, me and Lou are pretty much on the same things here. I'm also going to be on Cincy money line. No matter what the line is, no matter who is the favorite, who's the underdog, I think Cincy is just much better than the Chiefs at the moment. Their defense is better and their offense is better. They have better receivers, in my opinion. And obviously, if you look at the roster, everyone but Kelsey's uh, worse than the Bengals receivers. So then it leads me to the fact that I have to take the Bengals. They've been showing over the last 3 to 4 months that they've been a much better team than the way they started the season out. The offensive line, even though they have 3 guys that are hurt, they've been playing really well. Those bench, what's it called? The bench offensive linemen, they put on a show last week, and I was surprised against the Bills.
They had no pass rush.
They had
None.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it made it look like they didn't have none, but they were trying to rush. So I'm taking the Bengals with significance here. I think I'm going to be putting a pretty big bet on the Bengals here. And I know some people are like, "Oh, you're going against Mahomes." They say he's healthy. Mahomes, you can't really do that. I don't give a flying fuck. Mahomes is human. He can lose a game. Leading me to the props here. Tyler Boyd's prop is at 30.5 on a couple of books that I checked. He's been under this in 2 straight, but he ranks the second in slot snaps this year.
When do you
And
start looking at stats?
no, I had a hiccup.
When do you start looking at stats? That's my job.
Listen. I do this too,
I know.
especially for
I'm
there's only 2 games, so I had some time.
busting
So he ranks second in slot snaps this year. This matters because KC allows above average production to the slot position, and then they give up over 35 yards a game to the slot. So I'm gonna have to take the Boyd over just because of that. I know it's not anything like related to the actual like gameplay and to targets, but it's just facts and it's stats. So stats don't lie. I'm gonna have to take it, and I'll live with the outcome. It'll be a 1 unit bet. I'll take the over for Tyler Boyd. Um, Other than that, let me see. I'm just scrolling through my notes here. I have a decent amount of notes. Mixon's receiving yards. I want to take the under, but I just don't like taking unders unless I'm very convicted, like the Devontae Smith one from earlier.
He fucked my
Uh,
6-game, same game up a couple weeks ago. I'm fucking done with his receiving shit.
yeah, I want to take the under.
3 yards. I missed it by 3 yards.
His routes run are 20% down in the past 7 games. So that's what makes me want to take it even more. So I don't know. I probably
Why
won't
are his
get to it.
why are his routes down? Because his rushing attempts are up.
His rushing attempts are up, and also he's been losing snaps to Samaje Perine.
But like they've been using him more in the rushing game now, where like they don't feel the need, like they want to get him the ball like in space, but the real like dude, he was getting 7-8 yards a carry in the first half against the Bills.
That's true.
Like
Against the
they had
Bills,
to spell him.
against the Bills, he was just running all over him.
So they had to spell him. Like that's of course he didn't get any receiving like receptions. Like they had to spell him. They're like, I love that. I love your idea here with him.
I like the under a lot there. I just need to convince myself a little more.
I didn't lose a bet.
I know this is related to the other game, but I just scrolled down to the last part of my notes and I had something about Quez Watkins, so I think it's relevant to bring this up. His props at 15.5. In close games, he runs 53% more routes, leading to about 20 to 21 yards per game. And yeah, I would consider the over there with Quez Watkins on an.
Well, they don't throw to him less than 50. If they throw to him, it's 20 yards downfield. They don't throw to him 4 yards. Like he's not getting 4-yard routes. Like every time, like if he gets one catch, he clears it.
Like, yeah, but in close games, he's just running a lot more routes, which will definitely help you in the DFS standpoint. So yeah, I like it. But that's my take on this game. Those are the couple of props that I'm looking at. Touchdown props, I'm probably not going to touch this week, unless maybe like a sneaky Kadarius Toney. But
Get out of here with
Probably.
Kadarius Toney.
I might. First touchdown, Kadarius Toney. But we'll see. But yeah, that's what I have on this game.
So I too am on the Cincy train. I've been on him for fucking 3 months. I got no reason to get off now. This has nothing to do, and this has nothing to do with Mahomes' injury. Like, if anything, it's screwing me over on what I wanted. Like, because I probably could have gotten Cincy at plus 180 on the money line, and now I'm getting him at like fucking minus 105. I got him plus 100 when I bet him Sunday night. So at least I got that. I was actually, and then I was hoping, I'm like, shit, if Kansas City gets to like plus 4.5, I could just take him to cover and maybe get like a middle in a close game. But I'm big on Cincinnati here. On the Cincinnati side, whatever I tell you, do the opposite. Because any week I don't bet T. Higgins, he goes off. The one thing I'll say, T. motherfucking Higgins has had 3 massive games against the Chiefs. 2 massive games and then 1, like, pretty good game. So, like, if you like Boyd, and I didn't lose a shoey, he thinks I do him because it's like a thing to do. I do him because I lose a bet. I prefer to drink my beer out of one of 2 things, a glass or a leather glove. There's nothing else I like drinking a beer out of. Well, a can's all right, but like, I don't drink beer out of a shoe just to drink beer out of a fucking shoe. So I don't know what to do with the receiving props. It's a conference title game. Should Chase show up and just be Jamar Chase? Probably. Whichever one I bet, the other one's going to do something great. Like, I don't think it matters. My lean in this game is Chase and not Higgins. I don't care if Kansas City tries to stop Chase. I just kind of feel like, dude, they're getting back to the Super Bowl. You got to go to the guy you know the best, right? Like, don't you think if you're Burrow, you're like, fuck, Chase early and often? Like, Higgins hits the home run shots. Look, I still always love me a T. Higgins touchdown prop because, like, it's plus 180 for, like, if he has that kind of game, you know he's going like 6 catches, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, I don't think plus 180 is like a nice price for him as opposed to Chase at minus 105. But the target share is like double for Chase, man. Like Boyd gets a lot of targets, like early, not late, but like if you're gonna bet the Boyd over, I almost think like what's his first half over is intriguing because like it seems like Burrow goes to him more in the first half. Yeah, well, that's because I bet him. T. Higgins fucking killed me last week. On the Kansas City side of the props, I'm playing Kelsey for 2 reasons. I think I've seen Kelsey this season at like 90 yards in some of these games, and it's like, what? Like, it's crazy. It's not completely unreasonable this week. It's 70 something, I think. 76.5, I don't think is unreasonable because Cincinnati's pass rush has been decent. I think it's going to be more like Mahomes having to throw shorter passes. He's not going to have the mobility to escape. And not only is his, like, you know, I don't know why people are like, oh, he was at practice. He's fine. Let's bet Kansas City. It's going to be 21 degrees, man. It's going to be cold as fuck. You think that cold helps having a high ankle sprain? No, it's going to suck, dude. Like, I'm not saying Mahomes comes out, but he's certainly going to be limited as a pocket passer. Do you know what happens when you're hurt? You look to the guys you trust. He's not throwing bullshit to like fucking McCole Hardman when he's hurt.
Does he even play with him anymore?
He's looking for his guy.
He snaps.
I'm saying like he's looking for his
he's
still on the roster. He's throwing Justin Watson. Okay, how about that? But he's going to be looking for his guy. And Cincinnati is bottom 5 in the league in defending tight ends. I don't want to put too much stock in that metric because I think Cincinnati is going to be like, hey, man, can we throw 3 guys on Kelsey? It just may not matter. Kelsey's going to get his catches. He just gets his catches. I also think Cincinnati could be up big in this game because they have been their first quarter. Like when you made your bet last week with the Bills' first half team total, I was like, no, like don't do it. Cincinnati's defense in the first half of these games has been like so good. Like don't do it. I understood why you did it because like it's Josh Allen. He's gonna Josh Allen. But Cincinnati's been like so right weird. Cincinnati's been so weird. Dude, I think they haven't given up a first quarter point in like 6 games or some shit. Like, their first quarter defense has been so absurdly good that I'm like, don't do it. But, like, I don't know, man. I think Kelsey's just going to do what Kelsey has to do. Now, let's talk about the one that I don't know. And this is DFS related before we get to that. I don't know what to do with Jerick McKinnon here. He didn't have a great game against Jacksonville, not because he was bad, but his usage. He split his carries with Pacheco, not really targeted in the passing game. Now, I realize Mahomes got hurt. I realized that, like, Kansas City had enough of a lead late to kind of just go running attack because Pacheco had a great game on the ground. The problem is if Mahomes is hurt, they're going to use McKinnon as a pass blocker more than a receiver. Now, yes, he's going to get out and like do short routes, and for DFS, maybe that's all right. But I don't know what the fuck to do with him. I don't like. I can't take his rushing prop no matter what because that's not really why he's there. You either take his receiving prop, you take his anytime touchdown. Now his anytime touchdown here is plus 150. This is the highest number we have seen for him in quite some time. Last week he was, depending on your book, minus 120, even money. That's the implied odds of minus 120. What is he, Eckler? Like, he's not Eckler, dude.
Look,
look, we saw Eckler this year as high as minus 200 for any time. Like, that implies that, like, he's every red zone. Please, he's 2 out of 3 red zone plays.
Yeah, no.
So McKinnon at like minus 130, minus 140 that we've seen him in some of these numbers is like outrageous. At plus 150, maybe I'm interested again, dude. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? How do we approach McKinnon? And then I'll get to my DFS approach for them. But how do you approach him here?
You don't. Here's the thing. Like, DFS might be a different story, but for actual value, NBA value, I'm sorry, NBA, NFL, he's just like a touchdown or bust kind of guy if he gets to the end zone. And like, yeah, sure, they've been doing that. They've been giving him the ball in the red zone, but do you really want to trust that? Last game, he barely saw the ball. And I get it. There was a trend where he hit those touchdowns in every single game over the past like 5-6 games. But do you want to have to rely on the ability for him to get open in the red zone every single drive if he doesn't hit it over and over again? I don't think I would want to put money on it. Maybe DFS, yes. But as an actual bet, I'm going to be laying off.
Okay. So let me get to the DFS thing. And now here's where I have to get creative here. So in this game, QBs, I'm going to go contrarian to the field. I'm going to play 0 Mahomes. I still think he's going to be highly owned. His salary he's the highest priced quarterback on the slate. He's 400 more than Hurts, which is bananas to me. Joe Burrow, $800 cheaper, is must play for me. Now, if you're going to play Burrow, you got to play a stack. So you look at the receivers. I'll get to the running backs in a second. Jamar Chase, 7,600. T. Higgins, 5,400. I mean, look, man, I have lineups with each, but Chase is going to be the guy that's owned. If you can get to Chase and Higgins, you do it. Like, there's no more analysis I can really give that, like, it depends on who the hot hand is. So you have to have both covered. You do. Let me go to the receivers in that game. The next most expensive receiver in that game is Smith-Schuster at 4,700. In all fairness, I'm not fading the Kansas City receivers. They're cheap enough where you have to get to them. I'd almost play Valdez-Scantling at 3,600 because the price tag is like he's being treated like a fucking bum. You got to figure one of these guys is going to have to do something at this price point. Kadarius Toney's 3,700. I hate him because he's an asshole that did nothing for us. But somebody's got to do something in the receiving core, like, and it doesn't take much. So you mentioned Tyler Boyd. He's 3,800. Tyler Boyd is more expensive than every Kansas City receiver except Smith-Schuster. So it's weird that Mahomes is so much more expensive than Joe Burrow. To me, this pricing is like kind of bizarre. But for the tight ends, I'm going to tell you right now, Kelsey is the second most expensive guy for the day out of any position. Any position. Only McCaffrey's more than him. If you're going to play multiple lineups, I mean, you got to get to some of them because of what his ceiling is. But like the next Hunter, Hayden Hurst, Helmsley is $3,000. You like that, didn't you?
His nickname should be Hayden Hurst.
And he's gonna drop the fucking pedigree in the end zone. They were throwing to him in the end zone and the red zone. Like, I realized he was playing the Ravens last week too. Like, I get it, but like, they used him in the passing game a lot at $3,000. Like, again, we're talking about Quez Watkins. Like before, Quez Watkins was he 3,100? Quez Watkins is 3,100. Hayden Hurst is $100 cheaper. And I know and he's playing way more snaps. They use him way more in the passing game. So I love Hayden Hurst here. Like, if you want to play his props, if you want to play him in DFS, absolutely. Kelsey is just, I mean, look, man, you're paying him like a fucking, he's actually more expensive than Jamar Chase, it's like wild to me. It's wild. In terms of anybody else, I mentioned this in the first game. I don't really love how DraftKings scores defense, but the Cincinnati Bengals is the cheapest one at $2,300. Dude, their pass rush is getting through. They don't allow a lot of first quarter points. Look, I don't think Eli Apple's like very good, and like, you know, Karma's going to catch up to him this week. Maybe he might get burned. In fact, if you can figure out who he's going to defend, if we can just pinpoint it live bet that guy for a touchdown. Like, I might, like, the new Triple H, yeah. It's all about the game. But yeah, I like Cincy's defense as a poke in DK. I mean, you're paying $200. Again, it's weird that we're getting the Niners defense is $200 more than the Eagles, and they're the underdogs. The Bengals are $200 less than the Chiefs, and like, let's call it a pick 'em, because when these numbers came out, I think it was probably Bengals might have been a 1-point dog here, but you're giving me a 50% Mahomes who can't run around the pocket. They're going to rack up sacks, man. Like, I don't know. And I don't think this game is going to be 34-31. I think it's 21-degree weather. The Bengals are showing they can lean on the run now. Like, this could be a 2017 kind of game, man. The Bengals can win that kind of game. So give me all the Cincy stuff that I mentioned. I'll give you the lineup that I have for the full slate, and then we'll wrap this up. All right. So both games combined, this is what I cooked up as a one-game thing. Burrow, my QB. I went cheap at running back because a lot of pass catchers I like. I went Pirine and I went McKinnon because he's cheap. So it gets me to other players. At receive, you're going to like my receivers when I tell you this. I'm including the flex here too. I went receiver at the flex. I got 4 receivers. Playing Burrow, Pirine, and McKinnon got me to Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Brandon Ayuk. It also got me Kittle, and then I played Cincy's defense. That's my big lineup in a single entry for everything. Now, that being said, if you want to like mix and match, work T. Higgins in there, maybe replace Ayuk with Tyler Boyd. Like, I don't want to go 3 Cincy receivers, but I have no problem going 2. And if you want to go Hurst, you can actually go Hurst, Kittle, take one of yours, like take Ayuk out. Like, you can mix and match these guys. But I mentioned all the guys in the show. It's about 12 to 14 guys in the player pool that I want in my lineups. You can get to all of them as long as if you're willing to have the balls to not play a lot of Kelsey and to not play a lot of McCaffrey. You can get to like some super fucking sick lineups, and that's how you win. That's how you win the million. You don't play you don't play chalk. That's how you get there. You play a Quez Watkins. You play a Hayden Hurst. Like, that's how you win. You play P. Ryan. Don't play Trent Irwin this week. Fuck that guy.
Look at Quez Watkins.
No, but you play a guy like Dude, you need an obscure guy to score a touchdown and win one of these fucking things. You need like basically any white guy that ever played tight end for Dallas. Like, I don't mean Schultz. Who's their like third string guy? Just plug him in. Fucking scores 100 points. Like, it's
Ferguson.
Do I have action on the Royal Rumble winner? Can you put that up?
Oh yeah.
Because I have some information here for anybody watching the Royal Rumble, which is this Saturday night. Do you watch the Royal Rumble with?
I used to.
Well, you should watch it this week. Do you have Comcast?
No.
you don't have-
AT&T.
So you don't get Peacock?
No, I wish.
Because you get all the wrestling. Well, you get it all for free. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I wish.
So there was a rumor that The Rock was supposed to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, which would have been a cool ass match. The Rock is not available to do WrestleMania. So they are figuring out what they're going to do. Apparently, they have thrown literally all the goddamn money at Stone Cold Steve Austin to once again unretire and face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It is the biggest money match they have on the board. WrestleMania is not geared toward wrestling fans. WrestleMania is geared toward like you. Like, it's geared toward people that don't watch to be like, okay, I'm in. Like, I'm interested. Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back and facing their champion is the biggest match money-wise they probably have on the board. If Austin comes back now, why is this credible? Because Paddy Power and Bovada, who actually put up odds for this shit, had Austin at like plus 50,000 2 weeks ago. He's plus 400 right now. Somebody knows something that he might come back and win the goddamn fucking Royal Rumble. And if Austin wins, everybody's going to be watching their shit for months and being like until Mania be like, oh shit, is Austin going to be on? Dude, I'm in my 40s. I don't watch it. Like, I don't really care anymore. But if I know Austin's going to be on, I'm in. Yeah, absolutely. He's like my teen years. He's my 20s. He's when I was in college. Like, we're all getting fucked up, giving each other stunners, fucking slamming beers in our head. Like, dude, this is like the golden hour. Like, I have like a lot of fondness. Like Patty Max in chat. I don't know how many cans of beer we broke over to his head, or like, I definitely know how many walls him and his frat put people through in college. I tell you that for a fact.
How many tables they broke jumping on the table?
We had at like Sprankle, like our house, like that was the name of the house, like where I went to college. Dude, Pat saw me like, dude, I did crazy shit, man. We had like a bunch of folding tables. They were, and you get like the breakaway tables cheap, like, because we live, like, dude, it's easy to like rig them. Oh, dude, our buddy Johnny Goodtimes like got put through fucking tables, like, dude, and he was like, yeah, I'm in. Like, he just wanted, he's like, go ahead, do it. Dude, we had like, so yeah, Austin's part of like the glory era of like how much I loved it. So yeah, if I know he's gonna be on Monday Night Raw, yeah. Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
If you want to see me give Wiz a stunner, give me a hell yeah. There we go.
Yeah, that actually is not a bad look. I might sprinkle.
I'll give you an illegal stream for Saturday if you want to watch it.
I got you.
Austin will. By the way, Austin will not be.
I was going to say the website that I don't use.
I definitely don't go east on stream.io. Definitely not that.
I definitely don't go VIP on box.lc.
Oh, that one sucks, dude.
That one's so good. What do you mean?
Oh, it's the ad, like too many ads. Stream East is really good. I'm sorry.
Bro, use ad blocker.
Shit. Oh, yeah,
don't use ad blocker.
I don't use ad blocker.
Oh, great.
Peacock is like 0.1 unit. Ha!
Listen, okay, there isn't much on Peacock that I actually do.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Brady had a funny tweet. He said he was like updating his stats or whatever, and he goes minus 0.8 units. Bought the pay-per-view.
Yep. That was a good one. Got me good.
I don't know who Rob is. I don't know who this Rob guy is. The Pat
Rob Van Dam.
That's my nickname from college.
Yeah.
RVD.
I thought the same.
That's my nickname from college. Well, I also had long. Yeah, but I also had long hair, so like it.
I need to see a college picture of Lou.
Nope. I don't think they exist. I'm pretty sure I
You're
burned.
telling me you don't have a single one?
No, I'm sure I do, but I burned the rest of them.
Perfect. You could just put one on the screen right there.
Take us home, son.
So, guys, just to highlight, we're both on the Bengals. We're both on the Eagles this
It
week.
hurts my soul to be on the Eagles.
Yeah, likewise. But we're in the business of making money, not choosing favorites here. So we have to go with what we read. And AJ Brown, big on his props, receiving yards specifically. Devontae Smith unders. We're looking towards. I'm looking towards Tyler Boyd over on the receiving yards. Tell me if I missed one, Lou.
No, I'm on Kittle as well. We're on both on Hurts over rushing yards. You didn't say that one. We're both.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hurts over the rushing yards for sure.
I mean, even though I didn't say it convincingly, I'm betting Team motherfucking
Higgins. Yep.
Because I'm a glutton for punishment, and it's like Tony Finau in golf. If I don't bet him, he's gonna just fucking crush it. It's like I have to just bet him every week. At this point, I have to.
Sense.
The times I don't bet Tony Finau to win the Sony Open, he fucking goes wire to wire. He shoots minus 32 under, and I'm like, great. I missed him at plus 3,000. So yeah, I got to go Higgins, and then we gave the DFF stuff. Watch back if you want that. So
yeah, a bunch of DFS stuff for both games that Lou did an excellent job on because I know nothing about DFS.
And if you guys, and if you're watching this, not people in the chat right now, but if you guys, we got a couple days. If you guys are watching this, hit me up my DMs. If you just want lineup questions, whatever, specifically for DFF stuff. If you got lineup questions, hit me up, dude. I love talking about it. I'm happy to rap about it. I really am. So let me know.
Lou secretly worked for the sports books, so DM him and ask him for refunds for all your losing bet tickets.
Here's John Kelly.
What is DMs?
Here's John Kelly. Here's Gordo. I'm the hidden guy right beneath him, dude. And in football, I'm better than Gordo. Nobody's better than John Kelly or Kyle Marley. And I didn't mention Marley. But Gordo in football, I think I'm better than him in football. I'm not better than him in MMA. But, to be determined this year.
Oh, yeah. You guys are in that competition, so.
Well, I'm in front of him right now.
Ooh-wee.
I came in 5th place this week.
Wonder what he feels about that.
Dude, I took 5th place this week despite having Lazez in my lineup. I took 5th place.
I hate Lazez so much. That was such an idiotic move.
Despite him getting me 0 point, nothing, I still came in 5th place.
That was so idiotic how he just stuck his head there for the guillotine. Oh, man.
You
couldn't have laid it up to him easier.
I had the other Bond theme.
Oh, that gave you a lot. I'm sure.
I also had him round 2 KO on the prop show.
So, yeah, if you guys haven't already, props to what is it? Props to look at and maybe bet.
Jesus Christ. Props to consider and then maybe bet.
It's a long name. I'm like, wait, props to consider and maybe bet.
I got my poor unfortunate friend Paul Dahl. I don't know if you know him in the community. Good dude. I think you probably follow him. Paul's a good dude. He's next week for this awful card.
Oh, tell me about it.
But I'm going to do something a little out of the box for the next one because I've triple booked it. So instead of doing a panel, since one of them is James, and he cannot be trusted time-wise, cannot be trusted to be held to a schedule, I'm just going to do 3 separate shows. And I'll break down 4 props in blocks and let my guests do their thing.
That's smart.
But I got some interesting people coming up. And I got to get to you and fucking Patrick. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm doing all this well, I know, but dude, I could probably do this show without repeating a guest for a year. You guys did the bet elevator. I'm like, it's fine.
Mr. Popular.
And you hate props.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest prop guy, but if you need me to pull out some props,
all I need you to do is consider them and then maybe bet them.
I'll make people consider them. I got some props, sneaky ones.
All right, hold on. Kiarix knows.
I said the Bonfim KO, but I didn't specify a round.
Well, I figured if he was just gonna like wait him out, like McSkinney was gonna like
That's the thing. He wasn't even waiting him out. He was going after him. I
Well,
loved it. But McKinney
McKinney
changed up his game plan.
McKinney's striking was bad. It was like
He was
he
very
was like
patient.
pawn.
He
He was like
mentioned it.
pawn at him. He wasn't even like he wasn't. Nothing was like a straight shot. It was like overhand. Oh, it was bad. Yeah, love
It was
UFC props.
horrible.
Pat doesn't care about UFC props.
Under 1.5s are the new cash cow. There's a couple of unders that I like next week.
Just all I'm rooting for is Asian fighter Kyle Nelson. Dude, the Iron Turtle's fighting next week. That's all I care about. Iron Turtle.
It's the best.
What is Tyra? Minus
Least
1,200?
least intimidating nickname.
What is Tyra?
Tyra's 1,100, I think.
Jesus Christ, dude. Like, he's unbettable.
I mean, he's facing someone who's an absolute can, and
But
Jesus.
okay, but you can't bet somebody that weight class first round. Was it going to be minus 300 first round? Like, dude, this is what you bet when it's like top. When somebody's facing like Hunsucker and they're minus 300 first round, it's like, okay. You can't bet like, dude, you can't bet somebody like in this weight class. Like, was he 135 or 145? I don't even have it in front of me. Like, or 125.
125.
You can't bet them first round, dude. Like, you can't. I know, but like,
even though flyweight unders have been the wave recently, they have not.
But dude, if his round one props minus 300, don't you just bet like
absolutely not?
No, you know what you bet? You bet it like to get out of the first round and like just hope like you clench your butthole in 5 minutes. Like you hope Aguilar can just like not die for 5 minutes. Like
you don't even need to clench your butthole with him because he's not more of a knockout artist. He's more
like
of
we
a
just watched
guy.
Almeida. The Almeida under 1.5 was like minus 355, and it didn't win because he sucks, dude. Because he was too busy like not throwing punches. He threw no punches, dude.
Yeah, in that first round, it was literally nothing. It was, I don't know what he was
It's like
doing.
they told him, like, dude, take your time and get the over.
Yeah,
like he had no urgency.
Over on himself. He bet the over.
Fucking Shamil Shamazel.
He definitely put like 20,000 on the over. He's like, okay.
Can we talk about how your co-main and main event were like how you irresponsibly bet them to win all the money and it worked out perfectly?
It wasn't irresponsible.
No, it was irresponsible. You were hammered. You're like, all the money. I'm in many.
I had those bets in place before I started drinking.
But we gotta have a talk then. But you were like, no, Hill was never. He'll give you like a minute scare. He gave you a 1 minute scare in the fifth round.
Hill was just that fifth round.
No, but you were like, no. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but that was the thing. Hill, I was very confident in. Leading up to the fight, like I was slowly gaining confidence, and then like the last couple of days where I was watching like some of Glover's old fights, I'm like, man.
I already know we're gonna have
the fight against, huh?
I already know you and I are gonna have to shoey over this Hill's next defense.
Who do you think it's gonna be, Yuri?
You're gonna take Hill against Prochazka, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go. We're gonna do a shoey.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have Max bet Hill in that fight.
No.
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna have to. I'll commit to the shoey right now. Doesn't mean I have to bet. It doesn't mean I have to bet Yuri. I'll commit to the shoey, but you're gonna have to talk me off betting Yuri there.
Yeah, I definitely will. I have a lot of points. Like
just because Hill made one video in the fucking snow doesn't mean he's.
Oh no, I've been talking to Dan from Best Fight Picks. Dan Levy. I've been talking to him about it. I'm like, it's a max bet Hill spot for me. Absolute max.
Well, I'm sure Dan agrees too because like that's his fucking boy.
Yeah.
But really, all right.
Like no doubt.
Really.
Like he's gonna look like a hindsight minus 250, 300.
What do you think they're gonna? What would they line Hill against Ankalaev at?
Hill Ankalaev? That's an odd one.
Hill would be the dog. Like I'd bet. By the way, I would max bet Hill there.
You think?
Yeah,
so? I don't think he'd be the dog.
I do. I don't know. I don't think he should be. I'm saying what they will. Yeah, I think they will line him as the dog.
Why do you think so?
Because these fucking assholes goddamn love Ankalaev and they're thinking of all the money that's going to come in from like Asian. Like, dude, People love slamming Ankalaev money because he's like a dependable, boring fighter. I love, dude. Hill's takedown defense was good enough for like, dude. Ankalaev was terrible last fight. Like, all credit to him the last 3 rounds for being like, I'm hurt. I have to do what I have to do. All credit to that. Why he wasn't doing it in the first 2 rounds is bananas.
Yeah,
He should have dominated Blachowicz. Like, should have just crushed him.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I like what I saw from Hill. I'm happy he won. I had Moreno in the distance. I had all the Moreno props. I loved every fucking bit of that. They're like, oh, we got poked in the eye. It's good. Stop it. Ship it.
And it wasn't even a poke. It was a knuckle.
I'm shocked that fight was 2-1 after 3. I thought it was 3-0.
No, it was 3-0.
No, they showed the judges' scorecards.
Yeah,
Yes. They all had it 2. All of them gave the second round to Figgy. I feel like I guess the guillotine made up for everything else that happened that round. I don't know, dude. I agree with you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they came up with.
I didn't see the scorecards. That's horrible.
Yeah, all 3 gave Figgy the second round. Unbelievable.
Ankalaev almost lost. He's lucky he got the 10-8.
I know people that bet the draw there, so like,
Dark
I'm like,
horse.
fuck, dude. Terrible fight.
Yeah.
All right, let's take us home with. I already promoted myself. Take us home.
If you guys haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and thanks for the activity in the chat. It's been a great hour-long episode, even though we only had two games. Like we mentioned, we're going to be breaking down those games in depth, and I think the Super Bowl might even go over an hour. So we'll see. Good chatting to you all, Lou.
Oh yeah, we have some. Just so you guys know, we have some fun ideas for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we have a really fun Super Bowl episode idea. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a surprise. I know we mentioned it a little bit about it last episode, but we will be signing off, and we'll see you next week or the week after. Who knows? Peace.